Hi there, I'm Camilla and I'm here with another video for you, and this time it's actually answering a question a lot of you have come up with, and that is how to remove pencil lines from your watercolors. You might not want to, which is totally fine. Actually I really love pencil lines in watercolors, but it's very much depends on your style and how you like your own watercolors. But I want to say that it's not cheating to have pencil lines. It's art is just what you make it, and if you use pencil and love that, then that is the perfect way for you. But some of you might want to kind of make your pencil lines either go away or hide them, or just wonder how you can kind of minimize their impact on your watercolor. And that is why I made this video for you. First I want to make a small experiment here. I have lined up 3 different pencils, graphite pencils, in a different softness. So there's of course just a quick thing about pencils is that some of them are hard. They're called, for example, 2H, this one. It's very hard. Then we have some middle range ones. I like to use a 3B. There's a 6B as well. This is a very soft one, and they go up to, I think, 9B. So I'm just going to take the hard one first and make some marks here on the paper. And the hard pencil will leave some very light marks here. And that is often very useful when we're using it on watercolors. But I'll talk about that a little bit later, because there's a few problems with that too. The next one has a darker tone to it, and it's still kind of it's not soft, but it's pretty it's not hard. So it's a middle range, you know. And then finally we have this 6B, and I'm just going to leave that here. You can see that it's very dark compared to the 2 others. And now we're just going to paint over it, because we want to see if we can actually remove pencil underneath the watercolor. So if we so I'm just putting down water and adding some paint, wet on wet. So let's see how that goes. Just going to leave some marks over here that are on dry land. So we have wet on wet, and we have something that is dry here. Doing the same over here. And I don't know about you, but I've always heard that you can't remove pencil lines from watercolors. As soon as you kind of seal in the paint, or the seal it with the paint, it's kind of there. So it's interesting to see how this will go. Just putting down some paint here, and we can see how that dries up. While it's drying, I want to show you a few alternatives if you want to kind of hide your pencil lines. So there's a few ways you can do it. You can of course sketch with a pencil, and then kind of remove a little bit of the graphite before you paint. So you can either do that with an eraser, very softly, just lifting or removing some of the graphite. But an even easier way to do this is to use a kneaded eraser like this. So this is an eraser, just like the other one, but this is soft, and this does not kind of drag away the graphite or push it away. This kind of soaks it up like a sponge So you can actually just dab it, and that will remove quite a lot of the graphite, making it a lot easier to paint on it without it being visible. So that is a great little tool, and you can get this in most art shops. Another way to go around it is to use a watercolor pencil. So this is a Derwent Sketching, and it has a brush on it, so you can see that it is for watercolor. So this should dissolve when we put on the water, and it does at some degree, and this might give some interesting textures, or not textures but effects. It should be able to hide itself beneath the watercolor, so that is really quite handy. The last one is to use a colored pencil, and this is actually a watercolor one as well, so this dissolves a little bit too. So just painting a circle here, and I want to try to use a brown just to see if we can make it completely disappear. Maybe not, but it does dissolve quite a bit in the water. So if you are working with a lot of water, this might just be the thing. It's slowly disappearing here below. See, you can see it here, that it is actually quite disappeared already over here. So those are 3 great ways to work with alternatives to pencil, either just removing the graphite with a kneaded eraser, using a watercolor pencil, or a colored pencil in watercolor. And now I think it's our tests are dry, so we can get back to those. Now we have our tests here and they are dry. And I want to point out that if you want to do this trick at home, make sure to have it completely dry. If you try to erase something on something that is on water, on a page that is just a little bit damp, it will ruin the paper, so don't do that. And it's actually a little bit wet over here, so I'm not going to go into that area. I'm using a completely regular eraser, and let's see how it goes. We're starting with the hard pencil, so that is the 2H, and just trying to remove it here. And that is actually working in some areas, and it is removing a little bit of the paint, but not much. So just trying to do it up here as well, and that works really well. Just to make sure that it's not because of the eraser, I'm just going to try this one as well, up here, seeing how that will work. And that works well as well. So the 2H can be removed, at least this color, with the erasers, and this will depend on the colors that you are using. Some paints does seal in the pencil a little bit better, so make a few samples when you get a new paint. If you are working with pencil, try to sample it beforehand and see how it removes from the paint. I'm just going to try it over here as well with the hard wet on dry. That worked well as well. Okay, let's try the 3B here. It's a little bit softer. Just trying this. And this is actually really, really easy to remove. So, and that it didn't even remove the paint actually. So that was really good. Trying to use this as well, working fine. There's a little bit left, but not much. So this is really great. The final one, the 6B, and I'm not going to touch here. Let's see how that goes. That is actually not so good. I'm going to show you in a second why. So you can see how when I do this, it actually removes the paint where I had the pencil. So you can see where the pencil lines were. Another problem with using a very soft pencil like this for your watercolors is that when you use it for your sketch, you can risk doing this. Maybe not that hard, but it smudges and becomes really, you can see how it goes to my my fingers. It can make your paper look really gray. The other tools don't do that. But it is tempting to go with a very hard pencil because it's light and obviously it removes. But when using a hard pencil like this, you actually risk making grooves in the paper because it is actually really hard. So you risk making grooves that the paint will kind of fall into, and you can ruin your watercolor paintings with that. So I would actually recommend going with a middle range 3B. This one is a 3B, I like that one. But you can actually go with an HB as well, which is the one that most people have in their drawing stash from when they were in high school or wherever. This is the most normal pencil, and it will work exactly like this. So I want to just give you a quick example. I'm going to use the flower that I actually painted in the last video, a tulip, just to show you how this will work. In this example from my earlier video, I have made a guide, which is of course around the flower, and then there's a lot of lines in between and kind of just guiding the paint. So let's see how much of this we can actually remove. Of course the outer line is easy, there's no paint sealing that, so we can start with the easy part. I'm gonna keep this, and remember you can always you can keep it as a part of your painting, that it's actually just that there is actually just pencil lines here, and that is completely fine too. So I'm just going to go in and see if we can remove some lines here, and we can. Usually when we use pencil lines as a guide, we don't paint on all of it, so most of this will be easily removed without damaging anything. And since we discovered that you can actually remove pencil from a lot of paints, at least if you use the right ones, then you can actually do it from the rest as well. I'm just going to be a little bit careful here and here and there and there, up here, and I think that is it. Let's see. Yes. See if we can actually get that to focus. Nope. Just putting it here so you can see it. No pencil lines, and it was still used as a guide and really effective, where you can actually see the areas around the petals. So I always recommend using a pencil if you are unsure how to place your watercolors. It makes it so much easier, and hopefully this makes it even more easy that you know now you can remove it. I hope that was useful, and that you're not scared of using your pencils now. And you don't have to go out and get something fancy, just find the pencil that is closest to you. That might just be an HB pencil, and then you are good to go. But do test your watercolors before you are trying it out with a big piece, so you're not running into some kind of paint that will be super opaque and you can't really get rid of that pencil lines. So when you get a new paint, try to test it with a pencil as well. And if you like the video and want more, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and write in the comments here below, because I would absolutely love to hear how you use pencils in your watercolors. So let me know, do you use it, don't you use it, do you remove it, or how do you go about that? I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day and just get started painting. Bye!